From your 24-hour news source, Channel 4 News continues.
And just before we go tonight, a modern twist to an old Christmas standard. Good old St. Nick arrived via helicopter today at Dade's Easter Seal Society. Santa's reindeer are apparently resting up for the big night. But he was well accompanied, carrying a priceless set of stuffed koala bears. Mounted patrol officers, motorcycle units, and a SWAT team all helped him make the deliveries. The gifts went to 180 handicapped children throughout South Florida.
And giving, that's what it's all about. With that, we say goodnight. Thanks for watching. I'm Teresa Rodriguez in Miami.
And I'm Steve Abrams in Fort Lauderdale. The Channel 4 News at 6 is coming up next.
Good night, Steve.
Good night, Terry.
Up next on Channel 4 News at 6, the accuser is unmasked. The woman whose sexual liaison with William Kennedy Smith focused the nation on a South Florida courtroom. She goes public.
Crimes of passion are filling our court systems, gruesome tragedies.
Plus, a Channel 4 News exclusive investigation, speeding through the school zone.
And UM's starting fullback is busted.
The Channel 4 News at 6 is next.
Watch our teamwork. Channel 4 News.
From your 24-hour news source, this is Channel 4 News at 6 with Kelly Craig, Tom Randalls, meteorologist Brian Norcross, weather, Tony Segreto, sports, and the Channel 4 News team.
The woman who accused William Kennedy Smith of rape, nameless, faceless throughout the trial. Tonight, Patricia Bowman finally decides it is time to let the world see who she is. Good evening. For nearly a year, most of America wondered who she was and what she looked like. Well, tonight, Patricia Bowman is going public.
Why now? Well, she is getting ready to tell her story on national TV. What does it mean? Well, for one, it means media, including Channel 4, will no longer protect her identity. It also means we'll soon know a lot more about who she is. David Bloom has more from the newsroom.
Well, Jose, Patricia Bowman's Palm Beach attorney insists this is not about publicity. It's a chance, he says, for a woman who claims she was raped to tell her side of the story. Of course, a jury heard that story and acquitted William Kennedy Smith. But the public scrutiny he got will now be directed toward her. This is William Kennedy Smith's accuser. Her name is Patricia Bowman. The 30-year-old Jupiter woman is going public tomorrow night with her allegations of rape and no longer wants her identity protected. Mark Seiden, one of Smith's defense attorneys, says he's not surprised.
I think one of her main motivations, if not the main motivation in this particular thing, was her quest and her desire for attention. And I think that's exactly what she's getting. And now that now that the case is over and she's an ex-victim, her handlers have apparently taken the wraps off and they're going to let her capitalize it, both in terms of publicity, and I would not be surprised at all if it were not an economic capitalization as well.
I don't want to live the rest of my life in fear of that man.
TV trial watchers didn't see Patricia Bowman, almost never heard her name. For the most part, the media did not divulge her identity, even after a Palm Beach jury found Senator Kennedy's nephew not guilty. Now the public will see and hear much more about Bowman. For example, these still pictures that will be on tonight's edition of A Current Affair. Attorney Seiden says that Bowman's decision to appear on ABC's Primetime Live should cast a new light on her claim of rape.
She's going to gain the notoriety, I believe, that motivated her from the very beginning. She was an anonymous person. She lived in the shadows of her family for such a long period of time. Now she's going to get a chance to come forward and be on television, which is what I think she always wanted.
But Patricia Bowman's attorney says she was offered $500,000 to talk, but chose instead to do an unpaid interview with Diane Sawyer. Jose, Susan?
Okay, Dave, thanks. Well, a strong advocate for the rights of rape victims has tonight been dumped from her job. Channel 4 News has learned that Joanne Richter has been relieved of her duties as director of Broward County's Sexual Assault Treatment Center. Sources close to Richter told us she's been fired, but no one will give us an official reason why. She's been at the job for over 3 years.
A van taking high school students home from school was hit by a driver who apparently ran a stop sign. 3 kids were ejected from that van. 4 other students were also injured. It happened on 137th Avenue and Southwest 18th Street. The private van hit by a car, witnesses say, ran the stop sign. 10 people were taken to area hospitals, most with minor injuries. Everyone knows you're supposed to slow down in school zones, right? 15 miles an hour. So why are so many people speeding through a school zone where a child has already been killed? Well, that's what we wanted to know. Channel 4's Ed Odell investigated. Here's his exclusive story.
40. Busted.
They are here on Hollandale Beach Boulevard every day. A squad of Hollandale police, traffic cops, and motorists speeding through this school zone.
I got him. You got him. 33.
Yesterday, during the 7 to 8 a.m. school zone hour, 9 motorists were ticketed. Add the speeders from Tuesday afternoon and those caught this morning, the total 34 speeders were ticketed. And the numbers on these speed guns show that many more who didn't get nailed were not paying attention to the 15-mile-per-hour speed limit.
School zone.
That's why the one was killed. They're not paying attention. They don't read signs. They don't watch for the children.
A motorist apparently not paying attention to a red light and doing 40 miles an hour in the school zone, according to police, ran over and killed Ramon Turnquest in August. It would have been the second grader's first day back in school. It took the death of a child for the state to finally put up these school zone signs. But even with this obvious warning, people are still using this boulevard as if it's a speedway.
Stopped you, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? The same violation?
After the child was killed, the traffic detail has been here every day, yet they nail some who are repeat offenders.
Please be careful.
Hey, you know a kid was killed out here speeding through this area? You care?
Enforcement has worked. Before the signs went up, police officers were writing 60 tickets a day. Yesterday, they wrote 25. But that's still too many for the officers.
And I'd be willing to bet that half the people along here thought about their children going through here. They'd be out here screaming about making sure everybody's driving a lot slower.
But all the officers get is grief from some motorists and sad excuses from others.
Yeah, you're doing 29 miles an hour on a 15-mile-an-hour school zone.
I didn't even see it. I did not even see it.
I wasn't even thinking about it, officer. I'm sorry. Right in front of the police car, sir. Get out your registration driver's license. Welcome to Florida.
Hallandale police say not paying attention to school zone signs is not paying attention to the lives of children. In Hallandale, Ed Odell, Channel 4 News.
There's so much evidence that motorists are speeding and not paying attention, so much, in fact, that a school crossing guard was almost hit in one school zone. Channel 4 News will continue its investigations. Jose?
A University of Miami football player has been busted for the second time this season. Fullback Martin Patton, now charged with credit card fraud. We get the story now from Channel 4's Katrina Daniel.
Hurricanes fullback Martin Patton and former Canes running back Solomon Moore are accused of stealing a credit card from the mail, then using it to go on a $3,000 shopping spree. The gold Visa card was delivered to Patton's house by mistake. Investigators say he and Moore used it to buy television sets, stereos, CD players, and clothes. A Burdines employee, Jason Trico, a friend of Moore's from high school, was also charged.
He knew that they had a card that was taken from the mail, and he allowed them to use it in the store.
This is Patton's second major brush with the law in recent weeks. Just 4 weeks ago, Coral Gables police arrested him and charged him with resisting arrest with violence and battery on a police officer. Head football coach Dennis Erickson had allowed Patton back on the team after the last incident. Patton told the arresting officers this latest arrest jeopardizes his football future.
He was quite concerned with his status as a football player for the University of Miami and believed that it might end his career there.
UM's head coach was out of town on a recruiting trip, but the school released a statement that said, quote, "I am aware of the situation and will look into it more closely when I return and am able to get more facts." Patton and Moore were released on $50,000 bond each just a few moments ago. In case they are convicted in this case, they'll be looking at 15 years in jail. Jose?
Okay, Katrina, thank you. Thousands of pounds of cocaine seized in Miami today in a secret underground vault. Customs and drug enforcement agents found the 6,000 pounds of cocaine in a warehouse at Northwest 79th Avenue and 20th Street. Agents discovered the vault beneath an office there. Officials say today's bust is part of their continuing investigation into the second largest cocaine seizure in U.S. history, when agents confiscated more than 23,000 pounds of cocaine.
A small child is recovering tonight from the rage of his mother's ex-lover. Little Jaime Castillo was shot yesterday in a Hialeah McDonald's. Tonight, follow-up team coverage. The second of these reports contains some rather graphic pictures. We warn you. We begin with Channel 4's Ileana Bravo.
A clue into Beatriz Castillo's final hours. Inside her purse, they found a police pamphlet on what to do about domestic violence. But it was too late. Her jealous ex-lover, a man who beat her, chased her down and shot her to death inside a crowded McDonald's. Another victim was the woman's 4-year-old son. Shot in the shoulder, the horrified toddler cowered under a restaurant table.
For such a child at such a young age to have experienced multiple traumas and then finally the death of a parent is almost overwhelming.
A psychiatrist at Miami Children's Hospital, where Jaime Francisco Castillo is recovering, says the boy will need years of therapy to cope with this. The psychiatrist even recommends bringing the boy back to the scene of the crime, the McDonald's, to show him Mommy isn't waiting for him here where he last saw her. Some experts believe the child should be given the chance to grieve at his mother's funeral, to understand and accept her loss. Even when violence in the home doesn't end in death, experts say children are left permanently scarred. Listen to this 911 phone call made by a 6-year-old girl.
I need a police to come over. What's the address? Because my dad, he just came over and my mom, and he just... 511 South was on the 3rd court. What's happening? Please, an ambulance. I just got beat up. My knees are broken.
The woman was Donna Thompson, who fled from South Florida to the Northeast and told us by phone how her 2 children are coping with years of their father's brutality.
My son thinks his father's going to come and kill him. And this arms himself. He wants a knife, and he wants to be a man, and he's just a little boy.
That despite intensive therapy. The youngest victims don't easily forget, and experts say for the lucky ones, Mom escapes the abuse before it ends up killing them, before they end up like Beatrice Castillo. Ileana Bravo, Channel 4 News.
I'm Bonnie Anderson. These are some of the thousands of victims of domestic violence every year. Her husband was sentenced to 5 years. This woman's beater got 25 years in prison. Just 47 days after this couple was married, her husband locked her up and beat her repeatedly. He was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms plus 65 years.
Dade County Police and Fire.
Hello, yeah,
Repeated calls to 911 didn't stop Donna Thompson from being brutally hacked with a machete by her estranged husband 3 years ago. These photos showing the bruised outline of the machete on her back are by far the least graphic of her vast injuries. Thompson is hiding out somewhere in the United States. She fears her ex-husband could be released within 6 years.
Did you feel that the authorities weren't paying attention?
Very definitely they didn't do enough.
95% of the domestic violence victims are women. In Dade this past year alone, more than 4,000 temporary restraining orders or injunctions were issued, 2,000 permanent ones. This compared to about 200 injunctions in 1986, when who could file for such a restraining order was sharply limited. Over the years, the statute has been amended to include more than just ex-spouses. In fact, beginning in January, those who can petition for a restraining order include people residing together as if a family and people with a child in common, whether or not they ever married or lived together. But the injunction is not always the solution.
It doesn't take the place of realism. It doesn't take the place of common sense. It is a piece of paper, as you mentioned. It's not going to stop a knife. It's not going to stop a bullet.
Indeed, in the past 2 months alone, there have been 75 criminal violations of these injunctions. For victims, experts say restraining orders should be only one facet of a comprehensive safety plan. In Miami, Bonnie Anderson, Channel 4 News.
Tomorrow, Bonnie will examine what you should do to protect yourself if you fear a spouse or a lover may come after you.
Well, this is the Channel 4 News at 6. Still to come, it is official. We are in a recession, and we're here how it trickles down to South Florida families.
Plus, is this home in your neighborhood? You are looking at a live picture of tonight's holiday home.
And we want to know what you think. What should the heat do about Sherman Douglas?
At Sims, we want to thank you for making this year so successful.
As chairman of the company, and on behalf of all of us at Sims, we want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas and lots of good health and happiness for the new year.
In the coming year, we resolve that an educated consumer will continue to be our best customer.
Washington apples. They're as good as you've heard.
To help fight the corrosive effects of salt and water, every Lexus features airbag terminals plated in gold. Of course, we might have used a less expensive material, but it wasn't money we were interested in saving.
Who says you can't have it all?
Bal Harbor Shops.
If you're looking for the perfect gift, why go round in circles looking for somewhere to park? Or spend hours pushing and shoving through crowds? Instead, come to TGI Fridays for Friday's gift certificates. They're a great way to give someone the gift of good food and great times. Friday's gift certificates, another reason everyone looks forward to Fridays, especially during the holidays.
From your 24-hour news source, Channel 4 News continues.
The Bush administration is now using the R word, recession. Federal Reserve Chief Alan Greenspan today admitted the recovery isn't. Well, what's a proof here in South Florida? Channel 4's Kerry Sanders has an example from our Broward newsroom.
Well, each night we hear statistics, more layoffs, less investment in the economy, a trade imbalance. Behind the recession numbers, there are human stories. Tonight, Rebecca Messer's story, an out-of-work mother, a mother of two.
I got to the unemployment office about 10 minutes to 9, and I waited until approximately 1:40 this afternoon before my number was called.
Thank you. 575.
You're frustrated because you're so accustomed to being productive all day long, working, communicating on a work-related, adult, personable relationship with coworkers. And all of a sudden, here you are. You're one in a crowd.
Thank you very much. Have a good day and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
581 would be better. Have a good day. How innocent she is. She sits here, and lights, and there's cameras in her living room. Two strange men talking to her mother. Her mother's crying. Mommy got fired yesterday, so Mommy doesn't have a job.
She doesn't know why she's upset. She's too young to know.
Because it's like when she told me, I have a class party tomorrow and we have to buy a gift for a gift exchange. And I don't have any money. I only have $3.
A child's concern, but a real-life example of the pressure unemployment brings to the whole family, not just the head of the household like the single mother that we just saw there. Jose?
Okay, Kerry, thanks. Thanks for that report.
If you're one of the thousands of South Floridians out of work this holiday season, Channel 4 News wants to help you. We have set up the special 4 Jobs hotline, our Channel 4 News Help Center dedicated to giving you the inside line on available jobs. In Dade, call 379-HELP, Broward 523-HELP. Help, it is just a phone call away.
And still to come on the Channel 4 News at 6, an update on the cleanup from yesterday's train wreck in Palatka.
First, though, let's hear what Tony's got for us tonight. Tony?
Well, 3 Dolphins are voted into the Pro Bowl, and one who should have been wasn't. He's not happy about it. All that and results from our Sherman Douglas telepoll is coming up as the Channel 4 News at 6 continues.
Only 7 days left. Macy's gifts for her. Terry velour robes now 25 to 40% off. Jennifer Moore cotton sweaters now just $18.99. Turtlenecks in every color now just $12.99. Morgan Taylor jewelry and Jennifer Moore pearls 25% off. All at the one place with everything for everyone on your list. Bring your Macy's charge or the American Express card. Just 7 more days.
Think of the people on your holiday gift list. Who wouldn't love the freedom of a cordless phone from your AT&T phone center? Or the features of an AT&T corded phone? Or the dependability of an AT&T answering system? Your AT&T phone center gives you lots of gifts to choose from at special holiday prices. And you'll get free AT&T gift certificates with selected purchases. So make the holidays twice as nice with AT&T gifts for them and free AT&T gift certificates for you. Only at your AT&T phone center.
There's a simple reason why Janet Haley makes such a good Eckerd greeting card specialist. She just knows people. That's why she personally updates the card selection at least 3 times a week to make sure there's one that says exactly what you want in Eckerd's 10,000 cards from American Greetings. Because Janet knows that everyone in the world is different and everyone is the same. They all love getting that one perfect card. There are thousands of ways to say it, and Eckerd has them all.
Those who thought, maybe that this movie really goes to the edge really don't realize how far it actually could have.
Critics are saying his new film, JFK, is this year's most controversial. What does he say?
You're changed forever once you hear, information.
On the next Entertainment Tonight, Kevin Costner tells why he chose to star in the provocative movie about who killed President Kennedy.
Nobody's saying this is the only story. That we're saying this is our story.
Get the inside story on Entertainment Tonight.
Weeknights at 7:30 on Channel 4. Listen to Tony's Sports Updates every weekday morning on Magic 102.7.
From your 24-hour news source, Channel 4 News continues.
It's not that you have talent and that you play the game well. It is also image. And image is very important for the University of Miami.
Absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better. You're absolutely right. And image is everything that they've been trying to change, that bad boy image. And in case you haven't heard by now, University of Miami running back Martin Patton was arrested this morning, along with former Hurricane Solomon Moore and a department store employee for credit card fraud and mail theft. They were indicted by a federal grand jury. Hurricane officials are out of town and have said through a prepared statement they will investigate further upon their return. 3 members of the Miami Dolphins were voted into the 1992 Pro Bowl game. Quarterback Dan Marino, wide receiver Mark Clayton, and offensive tackle Richmond Webb. Now, the voting, which is done by the players, was headed by the league's heavyweights. Washington, Buffalo, the Raiders, and Houston all placed 8 players on the team. Today, Marino and Webb had this reaction to their selections.
The Pro Bowl, it's always nice to get selected because it means a number of different things. And one is the fact that you have the players around the league and coaches that recognize, your performance in that particular year. And I've felt that I've had a pretty good year all along. And
I was a little bit surprised, and this year is probably a little bit more special than last year making the Pro Bowl, considering what I had to go through, the injury and fighting back and coming back from that.
Meanwhile, the AFC's leading punter, Reggie Roby, was not selected. Raiders punter Jeff Gossett was, and Roby's not happy about it. Listen.
I'm very upset. I can tell you right now, the guy who got it, in my opinion, I just don't think he deserved it. Now with me, I felt I had a good year. I'm leading the AFC right now in gross. I think I'm maybe 4th or 5th in net, but what can you do? You can't cry about it all the time.
It had to shock you.
Oh, of course, I didn't expect to go, but I had a good feeling about maybe going.
Pete Stoyanovich should have also made it, and he didn't. Well, the Los Angeles Rams will be looking for a new head coach after this season. The AP, Associated Press, reports head coach John Robinson has told his team he will not return for a 9th season. The Rams are 3-12 this season, their most losses in 29 years. World Series MVP Jack Morris will be pitching for a new team next season. The 36-year-old right-hander agreed to a 3-year deal with the Blue Jays today. Morris declined to exercise a $3.65 million option with the Twins. It'll be interesting to see how the Miami Heat respond tonight against the Indiana Pacers at the arena after what happened last night. The Heat set an all-time NBA record when they were beaten by 68 points against the Cavaliers. Now, is last night's performance an indication the Heat need Sherman Douglas? What do you think? Does the Heat need Sherman? Thus far, you're saying 26% of you in our exclusive Channel 4 Sports telepoll that there you see, the 26% say, yeah, they should keep Sherman. 44% have said they should match and keep him. 30% say they should match and trade him. 30%, there you see that, and there are your numbers, 1-900-407-9100 to match the offer and keep him. And as we change numbers, 1-900-407-9200, match the offer and trade him, and 1-900-407-9300 to let him go to the Lakers. Personally, I just think the Dolphins, the Heat, I got the Dolphins on the brain. The Heat should get rid of him, but they should get something for him. So, yeah, they should get rid of him and get something back. Yeah.
Okay.
I saved my 50 cents.
So did we.
Still ahead, Brian's holiday home forecast.
Plus, Storma Norman entertains the troops, the Kitty Corps. The Channel 4 News will be right back.
Eckerd has discovered an entirely new way for you to select the perfect holiday gift. Ready? Estee Lauder's Knowing. Scratch, sniff. Lagerfeld. Scratch, sniff. Red, Polo, Drakkar, Opium, and more. Scratch and sniff. And right now, save $5 on a fragrance purchase of $20 or more through December 24th, which makes buying fragrances at Eckerd very appealing, even if you don't have a scratch and sniff TV.
Drive the best-selling full-size pickup. Lease the Ford F-150 for only $175 a month at your South Florida Ford dealer. A 92 F-150 with air, AM/FM stereo, custom trim, payload package, and more. Loaded with value for only $175 a month. Backed by a 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. And ask about low monthly payments on a full line of Ford trucks. Hurry to your South Florida Ford dealer today.
At Red Lobster, it only happens for the next few weeks. And it's just $7.99. Introducing a brand new shrimp combination. And wait till you taste it. First, we took a touch of honey and created new honey barbecue shrimp. Then the tang of lemon for new lemon broiled shrimp. 2 new tastes together at a special low price, just $7.99. But for a limited time. So hurry to Red Lobster. And for holidays at home, party platters to go. Ready in just 1 hour.
Pain from just one sensitive tooth can start the domino effect. Pain can make you stop brushing, lead to plaque buildup, gingivitis, periodontal disease, even tooth loss. Sensodyne toothpaste helps stop the pain and the domino effect.
I've got a 6 a.m. flight. I've got to get some Z's.
Nitol safely helps you fall asleep fast so you can get your Z's. Nitol or maximum strength Nitol.
Nitol will help you get your Z's.
This More You Know message is brought to you by McDonald's and Channel 4.
Growing up, I faced many choices about school, drugs, and the future.
Fortunately for us, he made the right decisions. Young people today still face those same choices. Choices that will shape their future and the future of our city.
Choose to stay in school, to be drug-free, and to be a productive member of society.
The more you know about making the right choices,
the brighter your future will be.
Get the weather when you want it. Call Channel 4's free weather phone in Dade 358-8000, code 4444. In Broward 731-7000, code 4444. A service of the Real Talk Yellow Pages and Channel 4 News, your 24-hour news source.
From your 24-hour news source, Channel 4 News continues.
Investigators combed the wreckage of Amtrak's derailed Silver Meteor today. 57 people injured when the train jumped the tracks in Palatka yesterday. Only 3 of those injured are hospitalized tonight.
And time for weather. Here's Brian at tonight's holiday home in Sunrise.
I've got another one for you here, Jose. This is the Seth Furman and Ron Finney home. Take a look at over 100,000 lights and 40 animated characters. They've been decorating here for about 15 years, and they do lots of good work here, which we'll tell you about. Toys for Tots. Look at that. A couple neighborhood kids are rocking there watching the lights and the people go by. All right, we'll show you more in just a second. But let's go ahead and check on the weather around town here. You see 70 degrees at Miami, and on the beach, we're still in the 70s as well. But temperatures are starting to fall off around town, and we'll be down probably into the 50s in general over to around town tonight. Here in the front yard of the Furman and Finney house, it's 63 degrees there. That's Mrs. Claus there on the teeter-totter with the train set and the dollhouse and everything else here in the front yard. But take a look over here. I guarantee you, folks, that this is the largest menorah in Sunrise. We have a multi-denominational holiday home here at 2100 Sunset Strip, just north of Sunrise Boulevard. Okay, let's go ahead and see what's going on weather-wise now. Let's start with a satellite picture. And there you see, if you look real closely, you see a little line of clouds just off the east coast of the state. That line of clouds represents a cold front that's sliding down here. Now, as that comes in during the day tomorrow, you'll notice that the winds are going to pick up. You notice that little line extends all the way back up to the northeastern part of the country, around the Great Lakes and over New England. Heavy snows up that way and bitter cold. Wind chills up there are going to be in the 20 below range here overnight. Okay, here's the way the weather map looks as far as temperatures go. Around the country, New York, again, 37 for a high this afternoon. Only 2 at International Falls and 10 at Montreal, and it's very windy up that way. It's going to be windy down here. You see Orlando in our state was 72 today. Okay, here's what the way the fronts are. Now, there's the front. Now moving through central Florida. Snowy and cold, but in general not including the major cities in the Northeast. Most of it is inland and up in the mountains, which is good news, although I'm afraid they are going to get some rain in the mountains of New England before this is all over with. And notice more snow moving in for the Colorado Rockies, and also snow and maybe freezing rain up in the Pacific Northwest. Now, tomorrow, what's going to happen? You see, for us, the front comes all the way through. The cooler, windy weather comes in here. Finally, it clears out in the Northeast. And a good snowstorm out there for the Rockies. That's good news for the skiers. Okay, here you go now with your forecast for South Florida. Small craft use caution. Winds out of the northeast at 20 to 25, 6 to 9 feet in the sea. Rough in the bay, 74 degrees in the surf. Tonight, cool air starts to blow in by morning. We'll be dropping down into the 50s tomorrow. Looks like a day that the wind is going to keep picking up through the day, increasing in the afternoon only 72, and continued chilly on into Saturday. And then by late in the weekend and Monday, it looks like she'll warm back up into the 80s. Here, this is Ron Finney and Seth Furman do the great work here for Toys for Tots and Kids
in Distress.
In Distress, right? And also, this is a young lady that was here visiting us last year and wants to say hello to her friend who can't be here this year.
Special get well wish and Merry Christmas to Jan Rogers of Sunrise from all your friends. And I hope you'll be up and out of that bed next year to see all these great decorations.
All right, one of the neighbors here on Sunset Strip. Just take a look at lots and lots of kids come on by. All right, that's it from Sunset Strip this year.
Okay, Brian, thanks. Thanks a lot. Susan.
Just before we go tonight, retired General Norman Schwarzkopf teamed up with George Steinbrenner from the New York Yankees to treat 2,000 kids to a holiday party. Storm and Norman even read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and Steinbrenner, get this, he got dressed up as Santa Claus. He handed out presents from the Yankees to the children, who were all considered at risk to drop out of school. So you guys with some time on their hands, doing some nice stuff. I think that's great.
And time for us to say goodnight. Thanks for watching.
NBC Nightly News is next. We will see you back here at 11 for the Channel 4 News Nightcast. Take care.
See you then.